So I'm a men's rights activist. I'm part of the men's rights movement. And I want to explain what that means and what the men's rights movement is all about because there's a lot of confusion as to what the men's rights movement stands for and what men's rights activists actually believe. I've done videos like this in the past, but I have a lot of new followers since then, so I'm going to give a update on that. So, a lot of people confuse the men's rights movement with some of the more misogynistic elements of the so called manosphere, such as the incel movements or the red pill movements or people like Andrew Tate. The men's rights movement is not about any of that. We don't believe in male supremacy. We don't believe in white supremacy. We simply believe in equality. We believe that men and women should have the same legal rights and the same legal standards. The men's rights movement simply exists because there are issues that affect men and boys. There are laws that discriminate against men. And there are certain social gaps where males are behind and boys and men fall behind in certain socio-economic factors, such as education, such as employment, such as incarceration, such as life expectancy, and the men's rights movement is trying to address these things. We understand that feminists say that feminism is enough to address men's issues, but when we look at what feminist organizations actually do, we don't see sufficient activity to address these gaps and address these issues. So when we argue with feminists and when we disagree with feminists, we're not trying to be against women's rights. We're just saying that we don't think feminist organizations and we don't think that feminism as a movement is sufficient to address men's issues. And if you look at my channel and you browse through any video with feminism in the title, you'll see that I specifically address why I'm critical of particular feminist groups and particular feminist figures who say things and support things that are against men's rights. It's not something that we're making up for no reason, it's something that we observe and record and then talk about. So, people who are confused about what the men's rights movement is, and if you think that the men's rights movement is some like ultra right wing or some alt right kind of group or some white supremacy kind of group or some male supremacy kind of group, and we're against women's rights and we think that men should rule over women or all kinds of misinformation that I see online, that's not true. And that's not what the men's rights movement is about. We really are about basic equality. And something that's very telling to me is that we have many women in the men's rights movement who are very prominent members of the men's rights movement. Some of the most famous MRAs are in fact women, such as Cassie Jaye, such as Karen Strawn, such as Elizabeth Hobson, such as Erin Pizzey. These are women who are men's rights activists and are very popular because they talk about men's issues and they talk about men's issues from a factual basis. They look at evidence and data and they use this evidence and data to make arguments in support of the men's rights movement. For this reason, they're successful because we support people who use facts and support truth when making those kinds of arguments. We don't like using logical ad hominems and we don't like attacking feminists just for no reason. We criticize particular feminists when they say things that aren't true or when they support things that go against equality. So that's kind of what the men's rights movement means to me. I'm a men's rights activist because I believe that there are men's issues that need to be talked about and addressed in society that currently aren't sufficiently addressed. And I'm not against the existence of a feminist movement. I think that women have the right and, in fact, the need to organize themselves to talk about the issues that affect them. I'm not against that. What I am against is the specific individual activities and quotes from certain specific and individual feminist organizations and figures who say things that are discriminatory and biased against men. These things can affect us and have real world implications. For example, if you support a model of domestic violence in which police are trained to assume that in any domestic violence call, the man is the aggressor by default, this puts male victims in a position where they may be arrested for calling 911 even when they are the victims. And that's one example of many. Again, you can scroll my channel, search my channel using feminism or feminist, look up any video where I have feminism or feminist in the title, and you will see that I specifically quote exactly what I'm talking about and exactly what my objection is. And I always put the link to what I'm talking about in the description of the video. It's not something that I'm just making up for no reason. It's something that I'm looking up specifically, seeing, observing, studying, thinking about, and then reacting to it, and then putting the evidence for it in the video. So that's what the men's rights movement is to me. That's why I'm a men's rights activist. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, blueorange22mra@gmail.com, or comment in this video or any of my videos with any questions or concerns, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching.